stand there for a moment. Look at your toes and lift all 10 toes up as much as you can and spread them apart as far as you can. Make as much space between the toes as you can. And then keep that space as you relax the toes to the floor. Now when you do the opposite, try to grab the floor with your toes and pull the floor towards your inner foot or the center of your foot. Like you're making a fist with your toes. And then relax the toes again. And lift them up, spread them wide. You can have a little bend in your knees if that feels better. And then relax the toes and scrunch them like you're making a toe fist. We call this toe fists. And then relax. Lift the toes, spread them, last time. Relax them and grab the floor. Pull the floor towards the center of your foot. And then relax. And then just relax those 10 toes on the floor. Think about all 4 corners of each foot on the floor when we are flat. So inner heel, outer heel, the big toe mount and the pinky toe mount, right? Want to be evenly on the floor when we do balancing and standing on flat feet. And so now you start to just shift your weight over the 4 corners of your right foot and then over the 4 corners of your left foot. Just do a little side to side shift. And you can let the opposite heel lift, right? And you're thinking about shifting the hips and the shoulders, right, over the heel of one foot, right? So it's different than going like that, right, with the upper body. So I'm keeping shoulders and hips aligned and shift the whole body weight over. You can lift that foot off the floor a little bit more if you feel balanced. And then we'll stand over that right foot. We'll do a little warm up for the ankle now. So your most weight is in your right foot. Bend your left foot and bring the outside of your left foot on the floor. Like I'm standing on the outer edge of the foot. And then we're going to trace the outline of the foot on the floor. So you're going to roll onto your toes and then to the inside of your foot, the big toe side, and then to your heel. And then to the outside, to the toes, to the inside, and to the heel. Okay, so you're kind of tracing around the outer edge of that foot, doing your best, right, to go around. You'll notice your whole leg is moving, right? That's what we want. So the knee is moving along, the hip, you're moving the whole leg from your hip joint. It's a little warm up for hip and knee as well. And the next time you're on the outside of the foot, we'll reverse the circle. So we go back to the heel, inner foot, toes, outer edge. And you decide how much pressure you put on that foot, right? How does it feel for that ankle? Maybe most of your weight stays over the right foot, right? Maybe you can push a little bit into the left. So whatever you can tolerate. And then come back flat and just put that foot down. Just notice if you feel any difference already in one foot or the other. And then we'll switch. We shift over the left, bring the outer edge of the right foot, soften your knees, right? And then roll onto the tippy toes, inside, heel, outside. So you're rolling around. And I immediately noticed this side is harder for me. My ankle here is not as mobile as the other one. So I have to move the leg a little more, compensate that, like you're moving the knee a little more. And then next time you're on the outside, reverse. So to the heel, inside, toes, outside, and heel. Right? Letting that whole leg move from your hip. One more circle. And then come back to center, both feet flat. Now you're going to do just a roll in and roll out on your feet. So you're going to roll into the big toe side, inner edge. Your knees are going to come together, closer. And then you're going to roll to the pinky toe side, lift the inner arches. And then again, roll to the inside as good as you can, right? If you feel any pain, if you have bunions, you may not go as far, right? Or if you have any pain, you may go just very small. It's rolling out. It's called supination and pronation in the feet, right? Oftentimes we want to avoid that, but the ankles should be able to do that, the ankle joints. It's an important movement that we want to be able to do. And then last time, and then come flat to the floor. Good. Now, I'm going to start rocking forward and back a little bit. So you're going to rock forward to the balls of your feet, lift your heels, and then rock back, lift your toes. I'm turning around so you see a little better. And you can start really small and then maybe make it a little bigger as you go. Let the arms move along the opposite way. It's going to help, right, to counter the weight shift. When I'm shifting back, my arms go forward. I'm shifting forward, my arms go back. I'm just doing that a few more times. And trying to stay one line from your heels to the crown of your head, right? Rather than letting the hips go forward and back, moving the whole body weight forward and back. Yeah. Maybe you go a little higher now with the heels, right? Maybe you can go a little more. And then we're gonna add a chair pose. So lift your heels and then shift your weight towards your heels with your arms forward as you sit back, like you're sitting in a chair. And then straighten the legs, lift the heels, press the arms back. Shift the weight back, reach your hips back, reach forward, and stand up. And you're just doing that a few more rounds. Right now, getting a hip hinge and the knee bend in as well as the ankle. Sitting back, reaching forward, and straight legs, lifting the heels. 2 more times. And you decide how low you go, right? Make sure your knees are going over your toes as you're sitting down. Good. Last one, I forgot to count, so let's do one more. And then lower your heels down. Good, shake it out a little bit. Now bring your feet just hip width distance still apart. All you're gonna do now is just the knee bend and an ankle flexion, right? And straighten the legs. So now I'm not hip hinging anymore, right? And see how far you can go. How far you can bend your knees without pushing or forcing it, right? How far you can go in your ankles, in your knees, and what you feel in your calves, right? How tight are your calves? You bend your knees. I'm going to do a little calf stretch in a moment. Do about 2 more. And 1 more. Good, and then straighten. And then take your block and just place it the wide way, flat on your floor. And you're going to place your the ball of the foot a little under your toes. So it depends on how tight your calves and Achilles are. You may have to adjust a little bit, right? Try to go as far up on the block as you can. Your heel is on the floor. You can hold on to a wall if you need for balance. And then you're going to bend into it a little bit, like you're pressing your weight forward, bending your front knee. Get a stretch into your calf, right? And this may be plenty for you of a stretch, right? You're just lunging in, lunging out. If you want more, you can step your other foot next to the block forward. It's gonna get you deeper into the stretch, right? It's also a little balance challenge. Now try to bend your back knee a little bit and straighten. A little back bend, and straighten. What I love to do this with the block is, especially if you have soft blocks, right? There's a little give in the block. So it's a little bit soft. Yeah, bend the knee a little bit and straighten. Last one. And straighten. Very good. Step off, shift the block to the other side. And again, ball of your foot or wherever you can be as high up as you can on that block. Heel on the floor. And then first just start with a little lunging in. Right, bend your front knee, lunging in and out. Getting a feeling of how tight is this side. Your Achilles, your calf, maybe you feel it in the ankle too. Okay, just notice. And if you want, stay here and just push into it, or step your other foot next to the block, or maybe even slightly in front, right, to get a deeper stretch. And then you can start on bending the back knee a little bit and straighten. So I cannot go far, right? Just a little bend, A little straight. That's it, Ellen. You may appreciate that too as a runner, right? Yep. Good. Nice. Last 2 times. And last one. And then step off. Put the block to the side. Shake out your feet a little bit. You may feel like a little more sensations as we go in the feet, or just a little more weight. I definitely do. Last bit before we make it towards more flow. Gonna do a little strengthening for the feet, for the ankles. So bring your feet hip width distance or slightly further apart. You're gonna bend your knees and slightly hip hinge so that you can bring your hands right above the knees, right? So I'm kind of propping myself up here, arms pretty straight to hold myself, push a little bit onto the top of the knees. And then from here, make sure you're engaging your core. So I'm drawing my belly and ribs in a little bit, and then you're trying to lift your heels and lower the heels, keeping the knees bent, right? I keep my knees bent, I keep my hip hinge. You may not go super high, and you may, right? And if you feel like you're rolling out to the pinky toe a lot, you can try to put a block or something between your shins, right? That will hug it, and that will prevent your feet from rolling out, right? Or you can just kind of think about the magnetizing your heels together. You work the feet, okay? And you keep your hands kind of pressing down a little bit, because then you have to lift your heels against that, right? You give yourself a little resistance to lift and lower. Last 3 times. Last 2. Last 1. And then take a break if your calves are dying, your quads. Now we're going to do a little duck walk. Call it the duck walk. So we're going to walk in this position. So stand to the end of your mat, because you're going to take a little walk. So again, bend your knees, hands right at the bottom of the thighs, right? So not on your kneecap, a little above the knees to press down. And then from here, you're going to shift your weight into your left foot. Step your right heel forward like you're walking, and then roll onto that foot, lift your back heel. And then bring that left foot forward, heel down first, and you're rolling through it as you lift your back heel. So it's a little like a duck, right? You're walking with your butt out across your room. I don't know how far you can go, right? You can go as far as you can go and then turn around and walk back. And you want to be very clear, right, and precise about rolling through each foot, right? So really, can you heel strike and then roll from the heel to the ball of your foot and push off your back foot, right, on the ball of your back foot. And you're walking a few times around. Just keep walking as fast or as slow as you like. Keep your focus on that foot articulation, right? My eyes are somewhere on the floor in front of me. Last time, walking across your mat or wherever you are. And you're going to end somewhere at the back edge of your mat. And stand up. Good. All right. I'm going to take it more towards the floor. So you can grab your block just in case and place it in front of you. You may need it when we fold down. So you take an inhale first, and we're going to swan dive. So reach your arms up, take a big inhale, and then exhale, arms forward or out, drop your chin and roll down. And then bring your hands either to the block or to the floor, whatever you want. And then first just bend your right knee, straighten your left leg a little more, and then shift. Bend your right knee, shift the left foot a little bit. So you're bending one knee a lot and straighten the other leg a little more. Press your arms, your hands into the block or the floor, wherever your hands are. Okay, let your spine round, your chin is to your chest. And then you're going to add a heel lift. So bend your left knee and lift the left heel. And then lower the left heel, bend both knees, and lift your right heel. And you can straighten the left leg a little bit. And then bend both knees, lower the heel, and switch. So one heel lifts, the other heel stays down. You can straighten the opposite leg as good as you can. Good, one more time each side, rolling through that foot. And then bend both knees, both heels down. Bring your left hand on the block or the floor, and then open your right arm out to the right and up towards the ceiling. And you're turning your chest, coming into a twist. And here you can straighten your right leg a little more. Okay? Think about pushing your left hand down into the block or the floor and reaching your right arm up. That's it. Nice, Ellen. Inhale here and exhale. And then bring that right hand down to your block. And you're going to switch. Both knees bending to start. And then left arm goes out and up. Start to straighten your left leg as much as you can. Reach up. Press your right hand down. Reach up to the left. Good. Take another deep breath in, deep breath out. And then both hands come down. You can put the block aside, bend your knees, and take a walk forward onto hands and knees. And if you need a blanket for your knees, feel free to put a blanket under the knees. First, we'll just start with some cat-cows. So as you inhale, let your spine arch and tuck your toes. So can you tuck your toes? Get a little stretch into the bottoms of your feet and the back of your toes, lifting your heart. And then as you exhale, untuck the toes. Press the tops of your feet down as you round your spine. So you get more stretch in the front of the ankle. And then again, inhale, you're tucking your toes, lift your heart, lift your tail. And then exhale, press tops of feet down, round. Yeah. 2 more times like that. Really focusing today on your feet, right? Tucking those toes as you inhale, exhale, round. Last one, inhale and exhale. Now let's tuck the toes and look at your toes, right? For not all of us can tuck them so easily. So maybe your pinky doesn't want to tuck or your big toe. Just do your best to tuck your all 10 toes. Walk your hands a little further forward. And then you're going to sit your hips back. So just rock your weight back as far as your body wants to go here. Get a stretch into the toes and then rock forward. You can rock all the way forward, maybe coming into a half plank. Lower the hips a little bit and then rock the hips back as far as you can go for your feet and toes and rock forward. And we're just kind of cruising forward and back a few times, like getting the toes to stretch. You push on as much or as little as you like as you go back. Last one with those toes tucked. And then let's do the same thing with the toes untucked. So untuck your toes, push, bring the flat feet on the floor, and then the same thing. Push back, sit towards your heels. Notice if you feel a stretch in the tops of your ankles and feet or not, right? Some of us may not feel anything here, and others may feel a little more. Just noticing that, rocking forward and back, cruising a little bit forward and back. Last one. And then come with the shoulders over your wrists again. Keep your feet flat, untuck the toes. So point your feet and draw your belly button towards your spine and your ribs in. And then see if you can hover your knees just an inch off the floor with your toes untucked. Right? It may give you a little more of a stretch to the front of your ankle. If that's totally not doable, then tuck your toes. If you want a little more of a stretch, you can lift your hips a little bit higher to get the stretch a little more into the ankle and toes. Take one more breath. And then lower your knees. And sit back for a moment, shake out your hands a little bit. We'll do one more thing here. Same thing with the toes tucked. Right? So you're going to tuck your toes and lift your knees, hover the knees. That's what we normally do, right? Draw your belly button in, your ribs in, shoulder blades really wide. Crown of your head reaches forward, tailbone back. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, lift the hips up and back into your first downward dog. And then today in your down dog, can you walk through your feet very slowly and deliberately, consciously, right? Lifting one heel, lower one heel, and then roll through the foot, right? Roll through it to lift the other heel. You're kind of like pasting your feet like you're like a cat, like walking the floor with your feet. Yeah, very nice. That's it. And then find your downward facing dog, whatever that means for you. You may have your knees bent, your heels lifted. And then as you inhale, roll forward into that hovering tabletop again, right? Shoulders over your wrists, toes are tucked, knees are hovering. And then exhale, lift your hips up and back, lower the heels towards the floor. They don't have to touch. And then inhale, come forward. Again, hovering table, and exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. One more time, inhale, roll forward. Exhale, roll back. We'll do one little flow here. So this time, keep your legs straight, roll into your plank. You can lower your knees first or not. Lower to your belly. Untuck your toes, right? My tops of the feet are pressing down, belly button away from the floor, and then reach your heart forward and lift your chest, cobra. Right? My toes are reaching long, tops of my feet are pressing down. Exhale, release, tuck your toes, press back, downward facing dog. Good.